Hello, it's Ruby, and today I'm going to be bringing you another very highly requested study with me. So this is a study with me over 2 days, and in the first part I am also going to be talking through how I cut down essays, because I always overstep the word limit, and I know lots of other people do too, so hopefully this video will be helpful. This video is also very kindly sponsored by BetterHelp, and I'm sure that you've heard about BetterHelp. It's a service which I really do respect and I think is a really wonderful idea. In short, it's a way to have therapy online. So BetterHelp has licensed therapists which are able to provide counselling through phone calls, video chat or text messages, and it really just makes therapy more accessible. So if you decide to sign up with BetterHelp, then you'll be matched to a therapist in less than 24 hours, which is actually amazing because it can take ages. You can be on the waiting list for a therapist for such a long time. They also offer group therapy, so these are through Groupinars, and these Groupinars sessions will cover issues that you might be struggling with, and you can connect with other people who are also struggling with this. So for example, ways to overcome anxiety, relationships. So BetterHelp costs $65 a week, but financial aid is also available if you qualify, and you can apply for financial aid when you're signing up. So do look into whether you are eligible. And BetterHelp is actually available worldwide as well. It's not just something within the US. Yeah, so BetterHelp is such an amazing service. I think it's such a great idea, and I'm so happy to be partnering with them to talk to you about them. It's a really, really great option if you do want or think you need therapy or counselling at the moment. But the thing to keep in mind as well is that BetterHelp doesn't operate as a crisis line. So if you feel like you are in crisis, then I will leave some links in the description box for resources which might be better suited to help you at this given moment. I would recommend using that instead, because BetterHelp isn't designed to operate as a crisis line. So if you do want to sign up with BetterHelp, if you want to just learn more, then you can use this link, which will be in the description box. Yeah, so thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video, because I am so happy to be working with them, and hopefully me talking about them today is able to help someone who feels like they do need or want counselling at the moment. So as I said, more information down below in the description box if you want to sign up, and without further ado, let's get on into the video. Hello, it's Ruby, and today I thought I would show you how I cut down essays, because I have this awful habit of writing at least double, if not triple, if not quadruple the number of words I should write in my first draft of an essay. And this is partially because of just my process of writing. I'd rather write loads and then go through and cut it out than not write enough and feel like I don't actually develop my ideas. Whenever I make a point, I make sure that I explore it in the depth that I would want to explore it. And I usually completely overestimate on my essay plans. I'm like, I can totally cover these 5 points, and then I end up writing 1 point and it's already at the word count. I've got an essay I need to cut down today. I've already done the introduction, but this is the essay. It's a 1,000 word essay and I've written 4,000 words, which isn't even funny, like. Okay, so one of the things that I like to do is write down on a post-it note my logical argument, so write down what each of my paragraphs vaguely is about, and this just makes it easy for you to see which paragraphs might not actually be essential to your argument. It's really difficult when you're reading through your essay, especially because you're biased in favour of, paragraphs that you spent much longer on. It's hard to find ones to cut out, and so writing down on a post-it note exactly what your argument is saying can be really, really useful. The main thing that I do though is just read through the essay and read out sentences and see which ones I can cut out where, you're just waffling, you're just repeating yourself, looking at how you can shorten sentences. For example, if you use the passive voice a lot, that can rack up some extra words. So if you say, grief in this poem is shown by Shakespeare's use of monosyllabic words, you could change that to Shakespeare uses monosyllabic words to capture grief, and that does cut out a few words. I also like to add in little notes of where I might be able to add in a critic that I've read, especially if I'm cutting out other critics earlier on which aren't necessary. Changing words which maybe are not quite fitting, don't quite work with the sentence. Okay, I have found a big section to cut, and it is always the saddest thing. I'm gonna cut this whole page. I'd made this little plan here as well for an extra bit to talk about, but that's gonna go too, and we're gonna skip right into the next paragraph. I like this section, but I don't think it's I feel like my argument will still work without it. The thing that I'm most annoyed about cutting it from is I did lots and lots of critical reading for this paragraph. When you do cut a paragraph, thank it, like Marie Kondo tells us to when we get rid of things. Thank the paragraph and don't look back. As soon as you cut it, you don't worry about it after that. And if you are worrying about it, you can just add in little elements later on. Here we go, all annotated. Oh, that was silly. I just went like that and just messed up the order of these pages. I've gone through and annotated. As you can see, there is a lot crossed out and also a lot added in. I like to use post-it notes if I want to completely rework a sentence. And when I go through, as you can see, I just read it out loud, see what works, see what sounds good. The main thing that I try to pay attention to when I do this is links and how well everything links. So sometimes if you take a break in between writing an essay, between two paragraphs, you might come back and the link to your last paragraph might not actually be that good. Flow is a bad word to use, but it might not flow. So that's one thing I pay quite a lot of attention to when I do these edits. So then afterwards I will just go through the annotated copy and I'll make all of these edits to the typed script, and I will do this in another document, so I keep the original and then I have this new one. If you're interested, my essay is about Mamilius's role in The Winter's Tale in the final scene and how his absence on stage actually means that he is very much present. I decided to cut out a whole nother section as well, which I was really happy with actually, so I'm gonna have to try and rework it to see if I can fit it back in. But with two of my paragraphs remaining, two of my main points remaining, my essay is now 1,500 words, so I still wanted to cut it down quite a bit, but it's in a better place than it was. So here we are on the next day. This is in the afternoon. I spent the day at my old school this day. I was helping out in a few lessons, and when I got back, I had an after-school study with me, as it were. So the first thing I was doing here was going through some critics and making a note of ones that I wanted to use in my essay. Okay, it's now 4:30. I've been working for just an hour and feeling productive still, really loving this atmosphere because look how gorgeous that is. It's that lovely time of day. This is my favourite time of day where it's getting dark and it's the perfect time to light candles, and I just feel so cozy and warm and festive. And oh my gosh, should I put this on? Oh, my parents hate this. I love these Christmas lights on this campus. It makes me so happy. So when I read critical essays and I do my research for my essays, I will copy and paste sentences which I think might be useful into a separate document, and then I will print this off, and after I've made my essay plan, I'll go through and I'll highlight the bits that I think might come in useful, and this just makes it a really easy resource to use later on, because when you're looking for a critic later on, when you're looking for that one that you remember, you can easily find all of them in one place. And here I was just making an essay plan. Then I decided to go do some exercise, so I just put up my hair. Okay, I've just exercised and made dinner. Haven't eaten yet because my mum's not back from work, but when she gets home from work, which should be any minute because it's like 7:10, then we will eat. I received this in the post. I'm gonna open it. It looked a little bit more vintagey in the pictures. I'm not actually sure if I like this. Then in the evening I did some reading. This was Orinoku, which I was reading for beginnings, and it wasn't very long. It was in like an 80-page book. Okay, I've now had a shower and I am just gonna finish reading I can't say it, 41 pages through this. Then here I'm just finishing it off. I only had 40 pages left, so I got that done here. And then lastly, after that, I decided to do some critical research for my structuralism essay for criticisms. I just like to separate it into headings, and then I will go through and find resources which I think might be useful for each of those, and I just make a list of all the resources that I want to look at. And as you can see, I was also doing research into like YA books which referenced internet trolls and popular culture references to trolls, so that's why I'm browsing Goodreads and also adding a few books to my TBR at the same time. Basically, my essay is about internet trolls, and I'm using structuralism to unpick how they operate in discourse today. And there we go, that was my 2 days of studying. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed watching, and thank you again to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. As I said, there will be a link down below in the description box if you're interested in signing up, and yes, I hope that you have a productive week and a very Merry Christmas.